when you have cooperative relations, it is a very broad field for cooperation.
Okay, Ramon, thanks very much for joining us. That was
Kia
Ramon
một mi
Pacifico,
cái.
political analyst
Kia.
from the Philippines. Well, we've got some
một mi
breaking
cái
news
hiểm
for
ai
you
nó.
now. We are getting reports from the Philippines.
Ý bè leo nâng tỏ y chụp lai
is
rồi.
on a tour.
Ui ui ui.
United States rather is sanctioning up to 7 Russian government officials
Chạy con phụ ở
and
kia.
17 companies with
Chạy
links
con
to
phụ chạy vô.
Russian President Vladimir Putin's inner circle.
Lại bà ba chi nè kia. Ý mỏ sưng
Russia has failed to live
kia
up
lại
to
bà
its
ba quá.
commitments
Kia
that
ấy.
it agreed to
Kia.
in an international accord
Khen khen.
aimed at de-escalating the crisis in the Ukraine. So that's sanctions
Chạy con
against
phụ ạ.
7 government officials and 17 companies close to the Russian President Vladimir Putin. And the EU also says that they've reached preliminary agreements to impose sanctions on 15 more people as part of the expanded Russian sanctions. So we'll bring you more updates as that comes through. Well, let's stick to news from Ukraine now. The mayor of the town of Kharkiv in eastern Ukraine has been shot and critically wounded. It's understood Hannadi Kearns was shot in the...
Thì tiếng phụ đó yêu phải kỳ la kìa.
The full vote will take place on Wednesday, but security forces, hospital and prison staff have cast their votes today. The day has, however, been marred by violent attacks, have killed at least 20 soldiers and Investigators are looking into how rescuers and the Coast Guard responded after they learned the seawall ferry was sinking. More than 100 bodies have still to be recovered after the tragedy 2 weeks ago. Meanwhile, new pictures have emerged of the captain of the ferry being rescued as it sank. Lee Jun-sok is seen emerging from the ferry on the right-hand side here in these images in his underwear. He then leaps onto the rescue boat. According to Coast Guard spokesman, the ship's crew members did not say they worked on board. All crew members have since been arrested.
Kia khơi có.
Let's go to news
Kia lại bà ba chi.
of the country have now banned Muslim Brotherhood is just one of 683 people who've had death sentence confirmed by a court in the city of Minya. The Muslim Brotherhood was removed from power by the army last year. The convictions relate to an attack on a police station in Minya last August. It was one of 2 mass trials which have drawn widespread criticism from human rights. Court upheld death sentences for 37 men. Another 492 had their sentences cut to life imprisonment. Well, our correspondent Ola Gurin is in Minya for us.
Well, there's still a great deal of grief and anger here. Relatives are gathered near the courthouse where they heard the verdict they had been dreading. For a month, these families have been hoping that the death sentences against their loved ones would be lifted. Instead, today, the death sentences on almost 40 men have been confirmed. Which men, which husbands and fathers, have now been condemned to hang. Many have told us that their relatives are completely innocent, that they had evidence that they were elsewhere at the time when the riots took place, but they say the court never heard that evidence. Some collapsed when they heard the verdict. Some women had to be carried away in shock. Now, there is a considerable security presence here. Riot police were brought in a short while ago. For the moment, they're staying in position behind these barricades. We also had a second verdict released this morning in the mass trial of almost 700 Muslim Brotherhood supporters. And the recommendation in that case was death for all. And that includes the Muslim Brotherhood's top leader, Mohammed Badia. Now, that case has been referred to Egypt's Grand Mufti for his ruling.